Good morning, Dan and Amy. And there is still much to discuss about what is happening on campuses, both college campuses and high school campuses, Amy.
And even elementary schools.
Well, are you ready for this?
Does this involve safety pins?
As seen at Tony New Trier High School in Winnetka.
Oh, you mean the New Trier High School?
Mm-hmm.
Which campus? Freshman, soft, junior, senior?
This was posted outside a homeroom on the campus of New Trier.
Okay.
Dear undocumented students, in this classroom there are no walls. You belong here. You're loved. Dear undocumented students at New Trier, yeah, right. Hilarious.
Oh, no, they are loved. They're wanted.
Excuse me, New Trier undocumented
Trier?
students.
Oh, there's a section of Wilmette that
Oh yeah,
there's
no,
some
right,
undocumented.
exactly. Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Every high school has a pocket of working class people that goes to the school. I don't care if it's New Trier or Lake Forest.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe some of the
What?
maids' kids going to New Trier. That's about it. That Tony white liberal bastion of totalitarianism. Give me a break.
Whose picture did they take down off the wall? Was it Congressman Dole's picture?
Dear black students, in this classroom, your life matters. You are loved. Dear Muslim students and students of Middle Eastern descent, we know you aren't not terrorists. You are loved. Dear Mexican students, you
There
are not
Mexican students at New Trier, I'm telling you. But okay, go on. What does it say to them?
you are not rapists or drug dealers. You are loved. Dear female students,
That's a little much. Oh, I can't wait for
men
this one.
cannot grab you. Men will, all caps, respect you. Demand it. You are loved. Dear LGBTQ students,
Here we go.
you are perfect just as you are. You are loved. Dear all students, all caps, we will respect each other and learn from one another. You are a beloved part of this country and community. New Trier High School. $20,000 per pupil per kid. And they just can't spend enough up there for that great education they provide, right? Wilmette, Winnetka, Glencoe, Northfield residents, right? What a joke. U of I, where the bedwetters and crybabies will matriculate when they graduate. The Orwellian named Office of Inclusion at U of I. This is a real thing. Post-election discussion spaces and resources. The week of November 14th. Latino Studies Solidarity Hours. Gender and Women's Studies Solidarity Hours. On Wednesday from 4 to 6, we will offer bystander intervention de-escalation training with New York City-based radical queer feminist social worker and activist Rachel Sarah Levy. Both intervention and de-escalation offer a set of tools which can be employed to assertively calm down a potential volatile situation. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
You speaking in tongue?
These are the offerings from the Office of Inclusion at the University of Illinois, financed by your tax dollars. Talking with Racist Uncle Joe, an interactive exercise on discussing race with family. 2 sessions. This is last Wednesday. Engaging with friends and relatives, even coworkers, about challenging topics can be highly stressful, but also an important part of staying true to yourself and your beliefs. Especially true when someone is saying things that are insensitive, rude, or hurtful in matters such as race and gender. This interactive exercise called Racist Uncle Joe is designed to help us prepare to how to respond in a group setting through creativity, compassion, and strategy. This is through the the School of Social Work. Other offerings. The Women's Resource Center will have solidarity hours. The Gender Women's Studies will have solidarity hours. There will be post-election healing spaces at the African American Cultural Center. The Asian American Cultural Center will have solidarity hours. The La Casa Cultural Latina is open all day for anyone who needs a space to process the election. There was a post-election debrief happy hour at the Center for Performing Arts. Join staff, faculty, and other members of our campus community as we gather together. No program or pressure, just space to come and talk. Followed by solidarity hours at the Asian Pacific American Coalition. And then, tap off your evening with the coming together after America's decision at the Black Student Union. Healing space sessions, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. And at the elementary school level, at a number of schools, parents are getting emails about how to explain to your children the election results.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't feel safe, they're upset, they can go to their counselor. I mean, it's really, everyone's got to seriously calm down.
Well, I need somebody.
I gave them a week and I'm done.
I need somebody to make me feel safe. And so I'm going to Peter Wood, who's the president of the National Association of Scholars. I need somebody to make me feel safe that scholarship will continue to exist in this America. Peter Wood, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here, Dan, and you should know you're loved.
Thank you very much. I really.
Oh, yeah. Where's the sign for the white man?
I really appreciate that. I'm glad we're all getting into the spirit of things. What about this? I mean, what I was just ticking off at the University of Illinois, their Office of Inclusion, this is not isolated, and it's something that maybe parents want to get informed about before they fork over 20, 30, 50, 60 grand a year to send their kids to one of these places, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the University of Illinois is just one of thousands of colleges now where the college presidents and the bureaucratic apparatus have jumped in with the idea that the election of Donald Trump is a traumatic thing that needs to be dealt with basically therapy. And the therapy is of the form of both encouraging the students to feel angry and then trying to intervene to make their anger go into things like playing with Play-Doh and putting together moments of cocooning into their safe spaces.
Well, don't you think all this...
Can you major
just
in cocooning now?
Probably. Basket weaving, too. Underwater basket weaving. But don't you think that these safe spaces and all this is just really the professors and the administrators projecting their feeling of rejection and their feeling of fear onto the students?
Well, I think it's a mutual thing. The students have been trained from kindergarten up to think that anyone who contradicts them is hurting their feelings, and I think there's probably a genuine moment of just astonishment that they could wake up and see that this person they favored to win the election lost, and then that's translated by many of their faculty members, certainly by the heads of these solidarity groups that are based on ethnicity, sex, sexual preference, and so on, tell them that this feeling of fragility is to be valued and intensified by taking what could be a minor bump in one's life and turning it into a catastrophe. So, yes, we are in the business now in higher education of teaching students to become emotional wrecks if they don't get their way. And, of course, they have a right to speak up and protest. Protest to what end? To simply reinforce their own psychological deficit seems not such a great idea. If I were a parent sending my son or daughter to one of these colleges, I'd be looking for how the resources get spent. If they're spent on simply diverting students away from education and into a 4-year therapy session, I'd be rather upset.
So the response to the Trump election on college campuses from what you hear from your colleagues, National Association of Scholars includes people that are actual intellectuals, people that actually truly believe that a college campus is a free marketplace of ideas that produce substantive scholarship the way that it was conceived, higher education would provide. What is the sense? Is that the response to the election is not self-examination, but it's going to be a double down on the repressive environments that college campuses have become?
I'm getting calls and emails from a lot of my members that were trying to figure out how they could respond to this constructively. But so far, it seems like it's just this big emotional rally taking place, and people are standing down from it, just trying to get their distance. Every class has at least a few students who say they're too traumatized to take their next exam or turn their paper in on time. So it really is having a dire effect on the way teaching has been occurring since the election. It's not everywhere, but some departments, the economics department at Harvard, for example, canceled its midterm exams on this. We had just last Wednesday a nationwide organized walkout, not just from colleges, but it was extended into high schools around the country and grade schools. So masses of children went out on the streets for an hour of emotional protest. That's wrong in several ways, but one of them certainly is we're now devoting public resources to sponsoring political protest. I think the single worst instance I heard of it was Pomona College out in California, which actually paid students to attend an anti-Trump rally. Now, these other uses of resources are bad, but when you're actually paying students to protest, you're kind of crossed a red line.
Yeah, it's illegal.
When is this going to end, or is this just going to be exacerbated in the future by any small thing that happens?
Didn't quite catch that. Sorry.
When does
it
this
end?
Yeah, where does this end other than in the end of civilization?
Well, civilization will muddle through. I think where it ends is in exhaustion. We will have probably a few more weeks of this. It's so pointless that the students themselves will lose interest in it. You protest and hear yourself echoed for a while, and then you go on to something else. But where it really ends is that the campus left is trying to delegitimize Trump's election, and they want to have in place just a reflex reaction on the part of the students that whenever Trump does anything, they'll be able to turn on the instant protest button.
That's the new immovable object versus irresistible force. The self-indulgence versus the short attention span. Those things are attention, right?
Very well put. Yes, the attention span here will not sustain a movement of the current intensity, but they'll be able to turn it back on the moment that Trump does something that affects higher education.
All right. He is Peter Wood, president of National Association of Scholars, one of the last bastions of free substantive thinking, or at least the membership of. So maybe actually when you look at colleges where you're thinking about sending your kids are going, see who is on the roster over at NAS and who is on the campus your kid is going to attend. That may be a good start to find actual safe spaces for substantive thought. Peter Wood, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.